Why did some people evolve to be left-handed? That is a question that has scientists searching for an answer for a long time. During the evolutionary journey of humans and other hominin species, the tendency of the body to lean to one side has become a complex and challenging trait. With the development of technology and language, the understanding of brain lateralization and the relationship between handedness and cognitive ability is gradually being clarified. This opens the door to exploring the causal factors behind natural selection and the culture behind why some humans evolved to be left-handed. Why did left-handedness develop in 10% of the population in ancient times? In common sense, we often understand that objects are symmetrical, for example, geometric precision in computer animation. But in reality, the human body is quite distorted. Most people have uneven ears, and this also applies to using their hands. About 85% of the modern population on Earth uses their right hand. This phenomenon is proven by many means, including studying signs on bones. Recent research has shown that the evolution of right-handedness began at least 1.8 million years ago. There is early evidence that Neanderthals, along with their ancient relatives, were dominantly using their right hands about 430,000 years ago. However, what has led to this phenomenon? Researchers can only rely on signs on bones to understand which hand an individual uses more dominantly. For example, research shows that tool use can cause distinctive marks on bones, indicating which hand a person uses more. If researchers find more evidence of handedness in more fossils, they may be able to gain more insight into the evolution of this trait. Some researchers believe that the development of handedness may have originated from a restructuring of the brain during the evolution of humans and related species. If this is correct, finding evidence of handedness in Homo habilis could help confirm that Neanderthals may have developed an unusual right arm based on the study of humerus bones from Neanderthal specimens. Although we modern humans often have differences in muscle development between our arms, Neanderthals had muscle asymmetry in up to 50% of cases. One theory has been put forward that this uneven growth in the Neanderthal right arm may have been the result of using the spear with the right hand to hunt large game animals, a task that required strength to pushing or throwing and kill a horse or reindeer. Another suggestion is that muscle asymmetry may be the result of arduous scraping of animal skins to keep warm during harsh European winters. Early research shows that Neanderthal ice scrapers were often used by right-handed people. Although the reasons remain unclear, Neanderthal bone records show that the majority, 76 out of 69 of those studied, had right arm dominance, close to the ratio of modern humans, 85%. How this tendency for right-handedness may have affected the daily lives of Neanderthals may be similar to its impact on us today, as we use both hands. It's possible that Neanderthals also used stone tools with both hands and made everyday gestures with their dominant arm. Although there are few known examples of Neanderthal art, it is interesting to note that there is a handprint on the wall of the Maltreviso cave in Spain. This mark was made by dabbing or blowing paint onto the wall around what was clearly the left hand, although it is possible that the artist actually used the right hand. This reflects a widespread trend, with approximately 85 to 90% of the global population being right-handed in at least most daily tasks. The ability to develop flexibility in left-handed people is a rare phenomenon, but researchers are still unclear about the tendency to use one hand instead of two hands during hominin evolution. The reasons for handedness bias in other animals are still a matter of debate, as is the reason why natural selection favors handedness. Many researchers believe that there is a link between handedness and language development, as both are associated with asymmetry or lateral deviation in the brains of most people, including right-handed people. In the brains of right-handed people, language processing usually takes place on the left side. Previous studies have shown that handedness is not simply a matter of one hand being dominant over the other, but that both hands have different but important roles in daily work. For example, The right hand is often used for tasks requiring greater manual dexterity, while the left hand performs necessary tasks, such as handling children's belongings. This type of handedness usually begins to develop when a child is about 7 to 13 months old and is usually complete by the time the child is 3 years old. This may be a trait shared with human ancestors. Right-handedness has dominated left-handedness for a long time. Classic stone tools were often designed to be used with both hands, and figuring out when such consistency emerged in prehistoric humans is not a simple task. However, in some cases, signs of handedness can be detected in early hominin fossils, such as the shoulder and humerus bones of Norioco, an ancient hominin of the same perfect age found in Kenya. This is evidence of the evolution of right-handedness since the beginning of humanity. However, this only tells us about the handedness of a particular individual and not about the entire population to which they belong. Although detecting traces of handedness in prehistoric humans is not an easy task, handedness has been demonstrated from a large number of extant Neanderthal skeletons. Studies of the teeth of both Neanderthals and Homo heidelbergensis, the presumed common ancestor of Neanderthals and modern humans, also show that the orientation of their fingerprints is consistent with holding food in the right hand. If right-handedness was indeed established when Homo heidelbergensis flourished in Europe and Africa about 500,000 years ago, what was its evolutionary advantage? The increasing sophistication of hominin toolmaking may have led to higher levels of handedness. But it's also possible that the technology-rich lifestyle of the first prehistoric humans required them to decide which hand to use to perform more complex tasks. Furthermore, such one-sided bias may have aided the learning process as clans taught each other toolmaking and other skills. Several studies have shown that people learn difficult tasks with their left hand more easily when they use the same hand movements as their teacher, suggesting that handedness bias is selective because it helps hominin control create better tools. It can be verified through the archaeological record. The more complex the tools, the more evidence there is of handedness in their use. However, many questions remain unanswered, including whether handedness confers a selective advantage and whether the bias for right-handedness is strong enough to explain why nearly all species are biased. Some answers may come from genetic research into brain asymmetry, a trait of right-handedness that is often considered a marker of the development of uniquely human language traits. The right brain bias comes from the fact that the left hemisphere controls the right side of the body and is where language is processed. This is important because it tells us that prehistoric brains were biased in the same direction as ours, and perhaps they also had linguistic abilities. No animal other than humans has such a tendency to be right-handed. Some primates, such as chimpanzees and gorillas, may exhibit a small shift about 5% towards right-handedness, which is an example of brain asymmetry, in which one side of the brain is responsible for functions for which the other party is not responsible. Aside from the exceptional dominance of our right hand, no other animal species exhibits human language abilities. No one knows when Homo sapiens developed language, but many researchers believe that brain lateralization was an important part of its origin. These findings have important implications for the ongoing debate about Neanderthal cognition, and they convincingly suggest that language may have existed at least a few million years ago. Regardless of where they are found, human-handedness has existed continuously throughout history and geography, and our species has shown surprising consistency in our tendency to be right-handed. These characteristics appear only in humans and are another sign of our species' superiority. This one-sidedness has existed since time immemorial, but we have reached an extreme level. This is not a matter of the right hand doing everything and the left hand doing nothing, but rather the fact that we have a characteristic division of labor between the two hands. Although we still do not fully understand all the factors that contribute to some people being left-handed, This research opens the door to a deeper understanding of diversity and the richness of human nature. Our video for today is here. Thank you all for accompanying us. Please leave your comments to help us improve the next products. Hello and see you all again.